Hello, good evening to you. Welcome to News 360 and it's live news up here at the subway in Kanda. My name is Alfred Okanse.
And I'm Natalie Forts. A look at the top stories this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Paint, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Spray,
Calipo and Nido Fortigro, your love, their future. Private legal practitioner Akoto Ampao warns recruiting people without integrity into office of special prosecutor can prematurely collapse the office.
Governing Council of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology reconstituted. Academic work resumes Monday, November 19.
Minority in Parliament says Ghana's financial sector is seeing a recession as the result of slow and negative growth.
Well, in business tonight, banking consultant warns strategic plan to stabilize city in 2019 budget.
And on the international front, 3 students in custody in southern Uganda on suspicion of starting school dormitory fire that killed at least 9 children and injured 40. The details of these stories and much more news coming to you live here on News 360. Remember, you could watch us on 3news.com all across the world as well as on DSTV channel 279. Let's get started with our very first story this evening. As an officer of the Police, Motor Traffic and Transport Department stationed on the dangerous Medina-Adentan Highway on Tuesday narrowly escaped death while helping a road user to cross onto the other side. They appealed to the Highway Authority to construct rumble strips while work is yet to begin to correct the defect. Now this, according to them, will help prevent further accidents and also ensure their safety.
The Ghana Police Service deployed officers of the Motor Traffic Department following the increase in pedestrian knockdowns on the stretch. This year alone, over 200 lives have been lost on the Medina-Adentan Highway. Last Thursday, November 8th, a female student of the West Africa Senior High School was knocked and killed, sparking spontaneous protests. On Monday, November 12th, contractors were on site and reports indicate the project is expected to be completed in 4 months.
Although governments gave the indication that work on the abandoned footbridges would begin soon, work has not begun, and residents are calling on authorities to speed up the process to ensure that these footbridges are fixed in the shortest possible time to avoid needless death.
But personnel of the Police, Motor Transport and Traffic Department who spoke off camera told the news team their lives are in danger because of the absence of rumble strips.
We would
have heard bad news here today. One police officer was nearly knocked down by a speeding vehicle. The footbridge must be fixed immediately.
This is the third time incident happened.
Although police MTTD have been deployed here, accidents still occur. This morning there were 3 different accidents.
The news team also witnessed an accident on the stretch during our visit to the area on Tuesday afternoon. Officials of the police MTTD also called for scaling up of road safety campaigns, particularly in schools, to help prevent accidents.
Now, private legal practitioner Akoto Ampao is warning recruiting people without integrity to the office of the special prosecutor could prematurely collapse it. He said the public misconception about the special prosecutor's office and work is largely due to the failure of government to communicate the mandate of the office. Akoto Ampao has been interacting with TV3.
Lawyer Akoto Ampao's name came up strongly as one of the few who were being considered for the post of the special prosecutor in the lead-up to the president's announcement. The private legal practitioner says misconceptions about the office of the special prosecutor is largely due to government's failure to communicate work done so far. He said the special prosecutor will need at least 1.5 years to be more effective.
In my view, at least 1.5 years or even more to set up an effective office of a public prosecutor. That is, if we are really serious in having an effective office that actually is capable of investigating, identifying those who have stolen public funds and prosecuting them.
He said the media should be interested in finding out what the allocations are to the setting up of the Special Prosecutor's Office in the 2019 budget. Lawyer Ampa was quick to defend the Special Prosecutor Martin Amido about his failure to prosecute anybody yet. He said the successes chalked by him whilst pursuing civil cases is quite different from the current criminal cases before him.
Criminal prosecution is a completely different ballgame. You need to do proper investigation, and that he cannot do it. He's not a trained investigator. You need people who have the requisite training to do investigation, provide the evidence for him to assess, and then determine which of the cases to prosecute.
Akoto Ampao wants civil society to put a lot more pressure on government to address challenges facing the special prosecutor.
Ghanaian civil society and all nationals who see that corruption is doing us massive damage ought to begin to speak out and put the necessary pressure on government, especially the finance ministry, to provide sufficient funding for the office to be set up. There are institutions, there are people in the public services, there are people in business community who do not want change in Ghana.
The Special Prosecutor Martin Amido, in his latest write-up, bemoaned the lack of resources and support, likening his situation to the work of Robert Mueller of the U.S.-Russia investigations.
Meanwhile, co-chair of Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Edem Senanu, says operationalizing the office of the Special Prosecutor has been problematic. Although he praised government for the bold decision in creating the office, subsequent actions has rendered the office useless.
I'm clear that from the president's perspective, he clearly wanted to achieve something. I think that in between that and the execution is where we have the challenge, that the follow-up actions to make this policy one that is actually operationalized and able to provide the type of tangible results we expect, that has not happened with the speed that we would have wanted to see. When we engage him, and you see these are the lawyers talking, he indicated that the law requires him, public policy requires him to have a spending officer, to have a budget officer, to have certain entities in place. Otherwise, he cannot touch money, receive money, procure what is required, etc. And so there's a sense in which there's a stalemate that he faces, because as a lawyer himself, he will compromise himself in terms of the thing we are trying to fight. We are trying to fight corruption. Somebody can say he evaded or avoided processes that were required in taking a particular action, and that would not serve his interest.
It goes to Kumasi now, where the Governing Council of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, has been reconstituted to pave way for the resumption of academic work on Monday, November 19. The council's inauguration was preceded by the swearing-in of 6 new members, including 4 government appointees. It's a report by Ibrahim Abubakar.
The Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology (KNUST) was shut down on October 22 following a violent demonstration by some students. Property valued at 1.7 million cedis were vandalized on campus. Government dissolved the university's governing council and constituted an interim council. The reconstitution of the council was, however, frustrated by government's quest to compel labor unions at the university to change their representation on the council. The government has, however, softened its stance, paving way for the inauguration of the council on Tuesday. Minister of Education Dr. Matthew Opoko Prempeh urged the new council members to use their leadership skills to help preserve the image of the university.
Your call as a council is therefore to oversee, advise and direct the operations of the university to ensure that academic policies set by the governance structure are followed. This will give the public confidence that the university is using its degree awarding powers with integrity.
Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Otumfuo Osei II, described the vandalism of the students as painful and a dent on the image of the university. He warned neither students nor alumni will be allowed to conduct themselves in a manner that affects the integrity of the university.
The next stage of the journey must necessarily bring to the fore all factors leading to the breakdown of order on campus, untangle all not an established responsibility or culpability, so we can all draw the right lessons for the future administration of the university.
Meanwhile, the University Relations Officer Kwame Yeboah Jr. has disclosed school will reopen on Friday, November 16, while lectures start on Monday, November 19.
It is the hope that the school will be reopened as soon as possible. The intention was to have it even tomorrow, but after taking a lot of things into consideration, the students are supposed to return on Friday, and on Monday, academic work begins.
In a related development, labor unions at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have restored their services with immediate effect. Now, this comes after the government heeded to their call to allow their existing members remain on the new governing council. Here's reports by Ibrahim Abubakar.
The Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Governing Council was finally reconstituted on Tuesday after a standoff between government and the various union groups. The government was calling for the unions to have their representatives on the University Council changed, but the unions mounted fierce resistance to government's move and reduced services in protest against the dissolution of the council. This led to the delay in the reopening of the university, though academic activities were scheduled to resume last week Thursday. Government has softened its stance to pave way for the council to be reconstituted. Chairman of the Teachers and Education Workers Union TEWU at KNUST, Charles Atta, says the withdrawn services have been restored in line with government's decision.
There has been a council meeting, school has reopened, and then everything will go on smoothly. That is what we want, and we think that that will help the running of the university.
National Secretary of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, Dr. Beribuedi Kusi, also shared his thoughts on the reconstitution of the council.
We hope that going forward, as the Chancellor has indicated, he will consult with other major stakeholders to constitute a committee to investigate all this mayhem that happened, so that we can find a lasting solution. We don't want this repeating in our public institutions.
With the new council in place, academic work is expected to resume on Monday, November 19.
One of the critical concerns the students have is making up for lost time as a result of the closure of the university and getting back onto the academic calendar. We're going to be keeping an eye on that and update you in our subsequent bulletins. But straight to Parliament, where the minority in Parliament say Ghana's financial sector is seeing a recession as a result of slow and negative growth. At its pre-budget roundtable discussion, the minority says Ghanaians should not expect anything positive in the 2019 budget, as the 2017 and 2018 budgets have seen hardship and joblessness in the country.
Minority spokesperson on finance, Kaisel Atoforsen, said figures from the Ghana Statistical Service for the first quarter of 2017 showed a growth rate of 11.2%. The growth rate for the second quarter, he said, was 8.6%, third quarter, negative 25.5%, and fourth quarter, negative 25%. He said the financial sector in 2018 also saw a decline, justifying the recession.
In December last year, the Vice President promised that every Ghanaian would have a bank account by close of this year as part of the effort to formalize the economy and ensure financial inclusion. We wish to ask whether, with barely a month to end the year, every Ghanaian has a bank account. The Vice President once again promised that 570 dams would be constructed this year in the northern, upper east, and upper west regions. This was in spite of the fact that the 2018 budget made provisions for just about 100 dams. We wish to find out from the government whether these dams have been delivered as promised.
Atoforsen said the 2017 and 2018 budgets superintended hardships and job losses and urged Ghanaians not to have hope in the 2019 budget to be presented on Thursday.
The popular saying Ghana beyond aid has now become Ghana beyond hell. In the year 2017, the budget was named Asempa budget, meaning good news. In the end, what did we see? We saw Asampone budget, bad news. Ladies and gentlemen, in the year 2018, the budget was named a Duma budget, meaning what? Meaning we are going to expect some more employment, but in the end, what are we witnessing now? We are witnessing job losses. The president has once again announced to the nation that the 2019 budget will be full of hope. Ladies and gentlemen, judging from the outcomes of the 2017 and 2018 budget statement and economic policy, what should we expect in the 2019 budget? Hopelessness.
The minority spokesperson on finance said Ghanaians should expect worsening unemployment and hardships, more debt accumulation due to the alarming borrowing, new taxes, upsurge in government expenditure, issuance of a century bond that will be over and above the absorptive capacity of the economy, and a budget that would be skewed away from the economic sectors to non-economic sectors. Other institutions and think tanks that were present at the roundtable discussion said the previous budgets by the NPP government have not been beneficial to the people.
A developing country like Ghana, how can we spend $21 million just on the fight of armyworm? We the farmers want accountability. NPP came to power, and now we the farmers have been rejected. They take decision on their own without consulting with the farmers. Most of the board, we the farmers, don't serve anymore. Premixed fuel, we control the premixed fuel. Now it's the politicians who control the premixed fuel. The government don't have any focus to move this country better. If there was a way that Parliament can do for this government to go immediately, like I think will be the best way to do.
Well, let's stay in Parliament, as the majority has meanwhile debunked claims by the minority of a declining economic growth. A member of the Finance Committee and MP for Bantama, Daniel Ochem Abuaje, said government is still fixing the mess created by the NDC government.
If you call massive love justice, you can call it, who calls them? It's the previous NDC government under their watch, where the former president superintended the collapse of almost 78 banks. If it wasn't because of the MPP government and the leadership of President Akufo-Addo, so many jobs have been lost. We saved, not lost jobs, to the extent that Ghanaians, you and I, have to pay taxes to take care of depositors' funds to the tune of about 12 billion Ghana cedis.
The member of the Finance Committee and MP for Bantama, Daniel Ochem Abuaje, said several social policy interventions have been created and that has helped alleviate the plight of Ghanaians.
On the contrary, it hasn't been hardship. At least if Ghanaians don't know anything at all, we realize that light has been on. They will claim that they bought the kilowatts and other things, but that's not the case. The most important is that we have managed it to keep it on for Ghanaians to see it. That's one. The government introduced free senior high school. It has continued. There are over 90,000 people going to school and saving about almost 1,950 to 3,000 per person, depending whether you're a day student or boarding house students. That is not something you can say is full of hardship. It's a relief to parents. The government has increased over 200,000 people, in the form of the LEAP. There are so many people that are enjoying the LEAP right now.
An MTN video report tonight as concerned citizen journalists reports on a classroom structure that gets affected whenever it rains at Karachi East in the Volta region.
This is Parikpari Victory Presby School. The school is located in the Karachi East municipality. This is what this class goes through usually whenever it rains. And here, the water is passing through one of the class. And since it's not properly covered, they have to push to one side to avoid being beaten by the rain. Citizen journalist reporting from Parikpari.
I'm sorry, but this is not a classroom block. It's actually something that looks like it, but obviously housing or having students learn there. And as we show this, we're hoping that those who have to respond to this will do this swiftly as well. You can also send your video report to 055-1433-044.
You're watching News 360. All the news in the world of business coming up with Kwesi Asari shortly. Stay with us.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the business segment on News 360. My name is Kwesi Asari. Let's begin with our very first story, where a banking consultant, Dr. Richmond Tuahine, has challenged the Finance Ministry to present a strategic plan that will help stabilize the local currency in the 2019 budget reading. He explains without a currency stabilization strategy, the positive effects of recapitalization will whittle away.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta will present the 2019 budget and economic policy statement on November 15. Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Tuahine projects capital of banks will shrink, thereby creating the need for another recapitalization exercise if government does not immediately employ a long-term solution to address the currency's depreciation.
The Minister of Finance should come up with a concrete strategies, both short-term, long-term, medium-term. If you capitalize and the currency has not become stable or is not stable over the period, if you haven't even capitalized, it could have been better. The devaluation would destroy the real value of the money. In 2009, the CD to the dollar was 1.43. Today, as I speak to you, is about 4.798. If my calculations are right, currency has depreciated about 234%.
He argued Ghana will have to earn more foreign exchange from transactions to stabilize the cedi, while recommending a national export agenda that transcends political party tenure.
We sit down and think that the currency can stop by itself. No. We must have a conscious strategy for this nation, and especially Bank of Ghana. They should be mindful that it's not just the recapitalizing, pumping more money that will solve it. They should actually think about a serious export drive where we have competitive and comparative advantage. Otherwise, by 2020, we'll be calling for recapitalization of banks because the capital will be whittled away.
In 2017, the Bank of Ghana issued a new minimum capital requirement for banks. Effectively, universal banks in Ghana are required to raise their minimum paid-up capital to 400 million Ghana cedis by December 2018. Despite concerns and objections raised by many banks, the central bank has indicated the decision still stands.
Now, for many fans of the Barclays English Premier League and especially fans of Arsenal, it was a Friday of bliss. They met up with Arsenal and Premier League legend Robert Pires. Robert was a guest of honor when Barclays Bank Ghana activated their Super Fans campaign at the Accra Mall.
The Barclays Bank Super Fund campaign is aimed at assisting government achieve its objective of having a cashless economy by the year 2030. The campaign will reward customers of the bank who transact business with their debit and credit cards for the next 4 months. These customers are also to keep a deposit of 5,000 Ghana cedis. The ultimate winner will win a fully paid trip to the United Kingdom to watch a Premier League game of his choice. Head of Marketing and Communications at Barclays Bank Ghana, Seronai, said his outfit, which is the official bank of the English Premier League, is leveraging on the passion Ghanaians have for football, particularly the Premier League, to enhance the use of debit and credit cards. He explained the reason behind the invitation of the two-time Premier League winner is to make Ghanaians have a feel of the passion they usually attach to their respective Premier League clubs.
This is our own way of also bringing this passion closer to Ghanaians. People are really crazy about the English Premiership. So Robert Pires is in Accra Mall this weekend, basically to interact with our customers and have photo opportunities with them. It's a way of we also bringing some joy to our customers and the entire Ghanaian populace.
Robert Pires, the former Ghana and member of the club's unbeaten team of the 2003-2004 season, said he was excited to be part of the campaign.
This is my first time for visiting, so thank you very much Barclays to bringing me for the big event, Superfans United. So I'm happy because I find very good people, very kind, very friendly. I received a warm welcome yesterday night at the airport. So yeah, I have a good feeling with Ghana.
Also away from Barclays Bank, on Thursday, November 15, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta will present to Parliament a budget statement reflecting what Ghanaians should expect in 2019. In the following report, we assess the impact of the various interventions introduced between last year and this year.
Government has indicated the 2019 budget to be delivered by the Minister of Finance will bring more relief, hope and improvement to Ghanaians. It is the first post-IMF budget as the country readies to exit the extended credit facility Ghana accessed in 2015. This budget comes on the back of the mid-year budget presented in July this year, which was themed from stabilization to growth, putting Ghana back to work again. The mid-year review was anchored on the medium-term development program aimed at providing opportunities for growth and job creation. In 2017, the budget, which was on the theme sowing the seeds for growth and jobs, saw government introducing projects such as planting for food and jobs, among other interventions. But how have these interventions impacted their targets?
If you look at the data figures that we put out almost on a monthly basis, you realize that for the first, second, and then third quarter of the year, the prices of commodities has been increasing gradually throughout the year, especially for some of the most consumed commodities that we have in the country.
According to Isoko, the situation can be attributed to high cost of production.
Because the inputs, the same volumes, the same amount of inputs that people were buying and then using, the cost has gone up. The cost of labor has gone up. And so the factors of production are also rising.
Well, that's all for the very latest in the world of business. Remember, TV3 Business will bring you comprehensive coverage of the budget presentation on Thursday. This is a station to watch. Well, that's all for the very latest in the world of business. My name is Parkus Yasari. Thanks very much for watching. For more business news stories, do log on to our website, www.3news.com. We'll take a short break and return with News360. On the international front tonight, 3 students are in custody in southern Uganda on suspicion of starting a school dormitory fire that killed at least 9 children and injured 40. The 3 had recently been suspended for bringing alcohol into St. Bernard Secondary School in Rakai. Police say dormitories' doors were padlocked at the time of the fire, trapping dozens of students inside. Some of the bodies were burned beyond recognition. Police used DNA to identify the remains of the students. 30 pupils were taken to the hospital. 6 alleged accomplices of these who were arrested are still being sought.
In some more international news, Zimbabwe's military has told a commission of inquiry that its soldiers did not kill civilians during protests in the capital, Harare, that erupted after the contentious July 30 poll. 6 people were shot and killed and more than a dozen others were injured in the aftermath of the first election to take place since Robert Mugabe was ousted as president after 3 decades in power. There's more international news on our website. Just visit 3news.com. We've got entertainment news coming up for you shortly. Stay with us.
All right, so good evening. It's now time for some entertainment and lifestyle news with me, Nana Kwejuado. Now, the first story for tonight is about Papa Shi. Repented musician evangelist Papa Shi has said a special prayer begging God to restore fellow musician Ofori Amponsa to his kingdom. Papa Shi wants God to save and help the Otolege hitmaker, Mr. Ofori, to have a change of mind and stop using his talent to glorify worldly things.
One-time hot cake musician and lover boy Papa Shi is noted for controversial songs including Atadrin, Atapa and Koyonso.
East Coast, West Coast.
The secular artist, now a man of God, has spent the past 10 years preaching the gospel. Papa Shi is just one of many Ghanaian musicians to have parted ways with secular music and turned their back on worldly lifestyle. Former hip life stars Lord Kenya and Yaosiki are all now born-again Christians. Popular musician and Otolege hitmaker Oforian Ponsa announced that he had been called by God to propagate his works. Pastor Oforian Ponsa, aka Mr. All For Real, however, backslided during an about turn to sing secular music.
I go to my knees like this. Say, Father, please, I pray in the name of Jesus, help my brother or my friend. Father, help him.
In an intercessory prayer, Papa Shi begged God to save and restore Oforian Ponsa to his kingdom.
Father, I pray in the name of Jesus. I bring my friend, my brother, Oforian Ponsa before you. As I'm praying, Lord, restore your servant, Yeshua. You love him because of him and me. You came to the cross. You shed your blood for us. If anybody has backslided, Lord, I pray, Father, restore them, empower them. Holy Spirit, help them because they have no strength. Lord, I intercede for my brothers.
Papa Shi wants Oforian Ponsa to shun worldly lifestyle, have a change of mind, and not use his talent to glorify worldly things.
You are my queen of Sheba.
I suppose the prayer gets to Oforian Ponsa the way Papa Shi wants it to. And that's about it. We wrap up tonight's edition of News 360 Entertainment News Segment. My name is Nana Kwejuado.
Thank you, Nana. We want to say thank you so much on behalf of the rest of the team. We're grateful. My name is Alfred Okansi.
I'm Natalie Forts. There's more news on 3news.com. As always, news at 10 will simulcast on our sister station 3FM 92.7. Have a nice evening.